Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miracle Network's Wednesday meditation. I'm so glad that we're all here together. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button below to receive updates and notifications. Today we're joined by Nick Arandes, who will lead us in meditation. Then we have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we open it up for sharing. We end at 10:45. Over to you, Nick.
Okay, so welcome everybody. We call this a space of remembering. A Course in Miracles uses the word remembering not as remembering something from the past, but just to remember that you already are. It's more like a recognition. So we're gonna we're gonna play with that concept in this meditation. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and Teresa, you can ring the bell if you want to. Okay. Closing the eyes is sort of like symbolic, so you don't feel distracted by all the perception. However, it is not necessary because life itself is a meditation. If you see how we're going to be approaching this space, I'm going to be asking you a few questions just to see that you are, that you have always been, and you can never not be. We're not going to try to control the mind or stop the thinking because that happens anyway. We're just going to, I wouldn't say learn, but I don't know what other words to use, or experience what it's like to be the witness rather than the protagonist. Right now, notice that in this space like beingness, your direct experience is of a sense of existing. Thoughts are not your direct experience. They appear in direct experience. We're pointing to direct experience, which is beingness, just being. That you cannot negate. Is a sense of existence, of being. Now, don't identify with any thoughts as I ask the following question. Who or what are you? The thoughts immediately is going to say something like, I am my name, whatever that is. I am my nationality. I am a body. See, look at all the attributes and labels we're superimposing upon just being. When you take those labels out, you don't know what you are. You don't know who you are. But the only thing that is certain is that you are. That is the I am. And that is eternal. That sense of being never changes. It just so happens that since we're so accustomed to identify with the thought that says that I am who I think I am, and on top of that, to all the thoughts that we attach to this being that I think I am, to this person, so to speak, the fact that I am, which is the underlying presence that never changes, is overlooked. That's all. That is why, whether your eyes are open or your eyes are closed, you simply are. You can never not be. So, in this beingness, existence, that words cannot be described, non-conceptual, just to show you how the mind can be for a moment stopped. I'm going to ask you this. Tell me, what is the next thought you're going to have? Stay with that. What is the next thought you're going to have? Do you see that you cannot tell? But yet it seems like the mind is quiet because it's too busy trying to figure out what is the next thought it's going to have. That shows you that if you do not know what is the next thought you're going to have, that implies you're not choosing the thoughts. You can only tell me the thoughts that you had the moment they appear. But where they appear from? They appear in the beingness, the space, which is what you are always. Right now, you're being that space. You're only seeing how the mind is oscillating from the fact that I am to whatever thought crosses the mind. Trying to control the thoughts is overlooking the beingness that you are. That's why we're not trying to control thoughts. We're just learning to observe them rather than judging them. As lesson number 1 from the course, nothing I see means anything. Because the meaning I give to anything is also a thought. But that thought is appearing in what? In beingness, in what you are. So without controlling thoughts, without trying to do anything with the mind, leave it alone. The mind itself is a thought. But just being. Can you say that you are not? Can you say you don't exist? Can you say that you're not alive? But not you, the person, is alive. You are aliveness. You are beingness. You are that, which is where the course is pointing to. And all it's asked of us is to be willing to surrender our thought system, and that's all. So right now, notice that you are being, not as a person, you're just simply being. It's the sense of being. Now let me ask you, in this sense, in this sense of beingness, which is non-conceptual, which simply is there any worry? If you say yes, it's because you are identifying with a thought. And that meaning that you're giving to that thought is what is overlooking the beingness in which you're resting right now. But if you don't give any meaning to any thoughts that appear, I'll ask you again. In beingness, if there's any worry, and the answer has to be no. In beingness, is there any fear? And the answer has to be no. Because fear is the consequence of a thought believed in. But if you don't believe the thought, what remains? What remains is what is. Words cannot be described. It simply is. Let me ask you another question. In beingness, which is this moment, this presence, which is eternal, has no beginning, no end, it simply is. Is there any future? And the answer has to be no. Because a future is a thought that arises in this beingness that you are identified with, and that is what creates the illusion of future. Let me ask you another question. Is there any past? And the answer has to be no. Because beingness, which is ever present, eternal, it is. There's no past. Because the past is a thought that seems to appear in beingness. And if the thought is not believed in, there's no past. There is just beingness. Well, what you are experiencing right now directly is what is referred to as the holy instant. That's simple. I would like to read from A Course in Miracles, the holy instant, when it says, the holy instant is this instant and every instant. For beyond the past and future, where you will not find it, it stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. This holy instant does not need that you have your eyes closed. It simply implies don't believe the content of the mind. When you don't believe the content of the mind, you'll function in the world in a state of meditation, which if we use the Course in Miracles language, in a permanent state of forgiveness. Because as A Course in Miracles says, forgiveness does absolutely nothing. It simply observes, waits, and judges not. So the invitation is that you remain in the holy instant for the rest of your life, with eyes open or with eyes closed, doesn't matter. While you're cooking, while you're driving, while you're taking the kids to school, changing the diapers, while you're watching a movie. Just be conscious that you are. And you don't have to be concerned about your own healing because that takes care of itself. That is why chapter 4 in the Course in Miracles, if you're willing to renounce to be the judge of the guardian of your thought system, if you're willing to renounce to be the guardian of your thought system and offer it to me, I will correct it very gently and lead you back to God. How does that translate in our experience right now? If you're willing to renounce to be the guardian of your thought system, if you're willing not to believe whatever the mind is trying to tell you, if you don't project meaning onto any thoughts, if you're willing to renounce to be the guardian of your thought system right now, that willingness, that little willingness, the correction is taking place and it's leading you back to where you already are. In other words, what you're seeking is yourself. And you are. Right now, can you say that you are not? You are pure existence. It's just that the thought me individuals gets in the way. But that's fine. Let's look at it. Right now, just be. And that's it.
Open your eyes and come back into the room. If you'd like to share, have a comment or a question for Nick, raise your hand and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. Norman, take yourself off mute. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Nick, for that definition of a holy instant. I've been having millions of them lately. If your definition is correct, I have no doubt about it that it most likely is. I had, about 20 odd years ago, when I started the course, an instant, and I didn't know what it was, so I called it the holy instant, for the simple reason that it says in the Bible somewhere, you cannot see God and live. And I always treated that with severe fear. Fear, I didn't realize also could mean love, but for me it was hard fear, and that's how I saw God. Retribution, get his own back on the things I had done, sort of thing. And whenever this came across that quote, you cannot see God and live, I was able to let go of everything, and I wonder what that means. And I got so close that I had the distinct feeling that if I got any closer, I would just melt into pure joy and be one with God. So that's what that quote meant. You cannot see God and live. When you get that close to Him, you just melt into pure joy, or blend, probably is a better word. And that's what I classified as the holy instant. And I've never had that again. I think possibly because if I did join, I would be no use to anybody else. But the fact that just the beingness is the holy instant has greatly reassured me. I've nothing to worry about at all. So thank you very much. That's something else that's cleared up in my mind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just remember this. Any fear, it doesn't matter what it may look like, it's just a thought. Love is no fear. And love is what you're resting in right now by the nature of what you are. All we're looking is how the thoughts cross the mind. These are the ones, these concepts are the ones who generate all sorts of concern. But right now, right now, if you don't believe anything the mind may be coming up with, this is it. you know?
Who'd like to share? Anne, take yourself off mute.
Hello, good morning, and thank you, Nick. I arrived here this morning because at 9:30, I just had the idea that this is where I needed to be, and that's what I'm learning to trust now. But it can be very backwards and forwards, and not at all consistent. But saying that, there is this sense that as soon as I start to move out of who I am, for want of a better phrase, it starts to feel really, really uncomfortable very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, I'm going through a really, I say at the moment, it's been going on for some time. I did actually manage to get to the UK festival, and I see a few faces here that were there, which is lovely. But yeah, it's like the character of Anne is very introverted, extremely shy, etc. So the difference between the two can be, yeah, am I meant to be this quiet, or so there's some doubts that arise, and yeah, I didn't know even what I was going to speak about, Nick, so I just don't know what's going to come out of my mouth here. Um, but yeah, just trusting, I suppose, it's that everything is actually as it's meant to be. Nothing's out of place, nothing's wrong. But it's just that little tweak into the trusting enough somehow. I think that's where I'm going with this. I'll
Yeah.
just leave it there. If there's anything you can say back, that'd be great.
Yeah. Mhm. Who's the one who need to trust?
Aha. Straight away.
Yeah, we get straight to the core. Here's what's going on.
Yeah,
Right now you are, aren't you?
I am.
Right? But this is not a mental or a conceptual. It's you just you are. You cannot not be. That's what it is. You are, right?
Mhm.
Um, at the beginning, I think you said something along the lines. Sometimes when I'm out of the I am or something like that, when I am something like this, right?
Yeah.
Can you step away from being? Can you step away from that? And if you can, show me how to do it.
Mm.
No, you don't have to close your eyes. I'm just pointing to the obvious right now. Can you step away from being, from this?
No.
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 That is always. That never
Too
changes.
obvious. Yeah.
The idea of trusting usually comes because we have preconceived ideas of how am I going to feel if.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
The idea of being shy is just a thought that is coming through. That's all. It's just a thought that is passing by. But the mind begins to judge that thought. I shouldn't be like that or whatever. But these are all thoughts. You see, these are all thoughts, but they're all happening in what? In the I am.
Mm.
Well, you rest in the I am, and now you can see the thoughts going blah, 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 saying what they're going to say. I am shy. I'm not too good. I'm whatever. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's interesting. But you're still present. You are. You
Yeah.
see?
Yeah. And
That's
that's the coming in and out. It's like as soon as I'm attached to any of those thoughts, it's like, ah.
yeah.
So yeah.
You cannot come in and out. It's like when you're dreaming and you're sleeping, you cannot come in and out of bed. You're still in bed the whole time.
Yeah.
And the attention goes to the dream. And that's what gives the illusion that I'm coming in and out.
Yeah.
But if you really look at this, you realize I cannot come in and out. It doesn't matter. I may feel uncomfortable at times because
Yeah.
there's feelings and sensation that may come up. And if I see the thought for what it is, I realize, okay, it's a thought. Today, this is the feeling that is supposed to be experienced. This is the thought that's supposed to be passing through. I don't judge them. I don't control them. I leave them alone. The feelings, and you notice that the feelings, they come and they go. And the thoughts, they come and they go. If you don't hang on to any of it, then just let it be. So technically speaking, the greatest suggestion I always tell people is just listen to the Beatles, let it be, and stay with that. That's all there is to it. There's no science to this. But when we begin to have conceptual ideas of how am I going to feel, I'm going to be in bliss, when the thought, no, I have bad days and I have good days too. I have all sorts of stuff everybody has. The difference is that before when we hang on to the thoughts of the mind, to the conceptuals, then we run with the show. But now it's just what it is right now. I mean, for example, you said at the beginning that something led you to go ahead and watch this meditation or this, right?
Hmm.
Did you choose that or the thought came in first?
Thought came in first.
That's it. So life is like this. The thought came in first, and you see how life is moving you here. You see? So you can remember that you simply are. And that's how life is going to be. You don't know what you're going to do next. You think maybe, but you don't know.
No.
There you go. Perfect. So just resting in that being, you're done. End of story. Finally, you're free. Now life is full of surprises. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no clue. And I don't want to know either because, you know, that's just mind trying to, complicate the
Yeah.
simplicity of life.
Mhm. Yeah.
So great. You're free. You're art.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Take yourself off mute.
Thank you very much for talking about what is. You made my hands tingle.
You take yourself off mute.
Thank you. I think I am experiencing my own activities every second, every day. So the vision that came that, when you're watching the oceans, the one wave come from this way, so other wave came, it just crashing to create another wave. So I was listening Anne's thought, as if it looks like a different wave, and it's come to this platform to just a bunch of a bubble, which is a thought. The collection of a thought, right? So just another thought came. And at the moment, my trend is the bread making, cinnamon roll. I don't know where that come from. I was just so obsessed about this making cinnamon roll. And watching YouTube and keep collecting a recipe and I keep baking over and giving to people. I don't know where that came from. I just so enjoying it so much. And thinking going to bread, making class and stuff. But the feeling here is just so fun. I just enjoying it. So now I'm confused. Who care? This is my trend at the moment, trend of wave. So I'm just experiencing my own activities. That's what I feel. And it's good.
Yeah, and this is great because when you look at it in general, you see, in general, the activity of doing the cinnamon roll thing is one activity. And sometimes there are other experiences that may not be comfortable. But when you look at all of it as that, you see, from the fact that you are now, none of the activities can distract you. You still beingness. It just so happens that sometimes, there's certain activities, sometimes there's others, whatever. But now you just watching the movie unfold, and you simply are this. You are that in which all of this seem to unfold. So that's a great So let's remember that the polar of the opposites is part of the play in the dualism. But the peace that surpasses all understanding is the holy instant. The holy instant doesn't judge the good nor the bad. Yeah, you can have the fun experiences, but you see them as, okay, this is what's happened. And then you may have other experiences, but then you see them with the same thing. So it's not that you don't care, it's that you don't mind. You're not minding it. And then life unfolds, and that's it. So great. Enjoy the cinnamon rolls. Hopefully I get a chance to taste them if I end up in England or so.
Who would like to share? I'll jump in here. Nick, when you said, "Who are you?" what came to me was, "I am love." And the Course says, "I am love." That's who you are. So it's because only love is real. So I think it's probably another way of saying, "I am."
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing about it is that for me to say that I am love, I have to know what love is. As long as I don't have any concepts around it, that's fine. But the
Yeah.
moment I begin to give it a concept, I love you because I feel this way, or I love because, but if love is just simply the absence of judgment, put it this way, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Yeah, there's worldly love and there's true love. Yeah,
Well, it's interesting because love is, and the moment I say that there's worldly love, is that really love?
no, it's just a manufactured
Exactly. It's a concept. That's why I usually step away from the word love because there's so many concepts around it. People think love in terms of personal love, or personal, and yeah, all of it is love anyway in the end because there's nothing that is not. But I've heard the greatest metaphor that says there's green mango and there's ripe mango. So the ripe mango tastes better. So yeah, there love is all that there is. There's nothing that is not love. But when it is misdirected by the thought, then it begins to be colored. I love you, but what it means is I want you, I desire you, I need you. You see, it keeps reinforcing separation. But in real love, everything is included. There's nothing that is not a part of myself.
Okay, who'd like to share?
Yeah, James. I think
Oops.
James have the hand up.
Jim. Yeah, I see. You see.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Nick, and thank you, Dan. Sorry, Nick. What does it mean to co-create with God?
Well, that is a word that I step away as much as I can because co-creation with God is in creation, not in the human experience. In other words, you are God. Let's put it that way. Not you as a person. As a person, you experience yourself as separate from God. You see? So in the creation, you're co-creating in what is true. In this world of appearances, we're not co-creating. This is just a projection. In other words, let's say you're in bed and you're in bed, okay? In bed, you're the only mind, and that's all there is. And within that, you can say that that's what is it extends itself to infinity. The moment you project a dream, in the dream, you're not co-creating. In the dream, you're distracted. If anything, you're co-projecting, but not with anybody, maybe with the ego, you know? So you co-create with God in essence, because that's what God is. It's just it's just creating itself. But the word co-creating, again, I don't like to use it because it implies two. You see, it implies a separation. And we're pointing to the fact that you are, you know? But in the world of appearances, the tendency is to think that I am God, me person, therefore I can co-create in this world with God, but this seeming co-creation in the world actually is more separation. You know what I'm saying? So this concept I try to step away from. The course talks about co-creating, but again, specifically talks about in the creation. But the creation is out of this world. The creation is eternal. This world is not a creation. This world is a projection, and it's not projecting by God, it's projecting by the ego. So how can I co-create with God in something that is projected by the thought of separation? You know? So as
Yeah,
God you are, yeah, it's extension, extending itself. That's it. That's all there is. That's what the
but the holy instant doesn't seem to be of this world either.
exactly. Notice that the holy instant, see, this world is made up by thoughts. The first thought is the thought of consciousness, which is what is referred to as the tiny mad idea. So this world is a projection from thought. The holy instant is an invitation to not identify with thoughts. When there's no identification with thoughts, what you experience is the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is the I am within this world of appearances. You see? That is why inner peace is where the course is leading to. Once this whole thing disappears, there's no holy instant, there's nothing. All that there is what is. But that is, again, once this disappears, which interestingly enough, this projection never even happened. You see? So this is kind of like the remainder that this has nothing to do with our reality. And the closest that we can actually relate to that while we seem to have a body is by not believing the content of the mind. If you don't believe the content of the mind, you're resting in the I am, which you are, which is.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Who'd like to share? Be vegan. Oh, okay.
Are you telling me to be vegan or what?
Who'd like to share? I think we're going into meditation.
Well, actually, this is the background. This is what is always. Words will come up when they're needed, you know, and if they're not, that's wonderful. This is
Teresa.
Hi, Nick. Thank you. Thank you for the meditation. It was lovely. Thank you for the quietness and just the wisdom leading us, words leading us. Anyway, the first question was, what happens when you say, I am? And because I've done this before, I know, don't say you're this and you're that and you're the other. But actually, I know you're not to say you're anything at all because it's all concepts. But I thought, I am all. And I really felt the allness. and it felt very lovely. You know, everything, the whole caboodle. So just wanted to thank you. It was a nice, different experience. Thanks.
welcome. You're welcome. Just remember that I'm pointing to the I am because you are. Are you not right now? You see, that is the I am. So it's sort of like a pointer more than anything else because the mind wants to get a hold of this and it's trying to think I am. You see, and then it begins to conceptualize it. Because if you say, for example, while I was resting in the I am, I felt this, right? You know, but if you're not feeling that, does that mean that you left the I am? You see, that's it. That's what we got to be conscious of it. You know, I am because I am. That's never changes. It's just like not associate the I am with a particular experience because then the challenge is that when people have, you know, some people might have had experiences, you may call it, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? Which is fine. But the problem is that when they associate the experience, you know, as something special, now they spend their whole life trying to get that experience again, which will never happen probably. Thinking that the I am is just feeling this way. But when I am having a stomach ache or going through a challenging situation, the I am is gone. No, the I am is still there. You are the I am. Is the thinking process that is evaluating the present experience. And now the I am, it seems to be overlooked. So if you don't attach the I am to any particular feeling, sensation, or experience, you are. You are always. You can never not be, you know? Mhm.
Who'd like to share? Nick, do you want to say some last words before we close?
Just be.
Norman.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the peace.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Take yourself off mute and show your appreciation to Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone.